Good
Hi, it's
evening.
me, Heather.
Was that the one that had the Heather on it? Oh, I didn't upload the right one. Deep sigh right
That's
now.
fine. It's great. We have so
Anyway,
many.
I thought it was the right one. Damn it.
So,
Anyway,
so here's the problem. I've made so many versions of the Restitching the Tapestry theme that we don't know which one is which anymore.
and the icon is so small that I can't see, like, at least on my end, the icon is so small I can't see whose names are on them. So I'm just like, oh well.
So
Heather's here in
sorry,
spirit.
Heather.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to episode 90 of Restitching the Tapestry. We are 10 episodes away from 100, my friends. We are inching closer. We have a lot to talk about tonight. A lot has been happening in the world today. Well, maybe not a lot, but like some huge things have been happening in the world, and we wanted to talk about them. But of course, before we do any of that, let's share how we've been doing and what we've been up to. Ready, go.
Me first? Oh, God.
Yeah.
No, you first. I feel like you have a
Oh,
more exciting life than
I
I
just
do.
almost dropped my glasses. My exciting life is me almost breaking my glasses live on camera.
Well, don't you get that?
So, I mean, I don't know if my life is exciting, but this was week number 2 of school, so things have been like picking up and getting busy. Oh,
I'm
are you
choking
all
on my
right?
tea. I'm gonna die like the queen. Oh, God.
Oh,
Help me.
could that be too soon? Could that be too soon? Don't die. We've had enough loss for one day. So like it's been busy for me. I've been getting some writing done. I've been doing a lot of cleaning. I've been decorating for like the fall season for some reason this year. Like I'm really wanting to decorate for fall. I don't know why.
Oh my God. Do you want to see my only decoration I'm going to do for fall?
Yes, please.
Hold on. I'm going to be right back.
Sounds good. Nobody's in the chat yet. What is going on tonight? Oh my goodness. But yeah, if anybody listening wants to let us know how you're doing, please do. Let's
Sorry,
see.
it's super unprofessional of me, but I just had to share. I've got a gourd.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute. I love gourds. They are very adorable.
That's the only thing I'm decorating for the fall is my little gourd.
If I were to show you guys my living room, because our living room is like a fall fantasy, like garlands and pumpkins, figurines, and so my partner did all the decorating, so I give him the credit for that. I'm in charge with only decorating my office. So the only decoration that I have is I switched out my little, I need to point in the right direction, our little wax warmer. It's now a little pumpkin. It's so cute, and I'm obsessed with it. So
I'm just excited for your Halloween costume. I don't want to like spill the beans on what it is yet.
well, just to let you all know, it will involve me donning a wig.
I'm just he's showed me pictures of it. I'm terribly excited. I don't want to go too much into detail. I'm just real excited for it. I'm real excited to see it.
Let's just say that I'm wearing a wig and it's a situation where I literally have to practice my makeup skills because I've not put on makeup since I was like a freshman in college and I'm terrible at it. So yeah, it's going to be fun. And I'm going to be uploading video stuff showcasing the ridiculous transformation and my terrible makeup skills. And Britt has promised me that he would do a makeup video with me.
Like a get ready with me?
Yep, he's going to make his debut on my channel soon. Now, mind you, I can't guarantee it's going to be like I cannot guarantee we're going to look phenomenal by the end of it because I might look like a mess. So
no, you're gonna look great. I'm so excited.
Oh, I know. I'm really excited. I'm excited to have him on my channel. And don't worry, everyone, we are not turning into a beauty channel here. I'm not that committed. let's just say. All right, so let's see who we got in tonight. Arby's here and loves my shirt. Thank you. It's my Evanescence Love Over All shirt, a pride shirt, as you might imagine. Speaking of Evanescence, Amy Lee Forever is here. Just running in my high heels to get to my PC. If I fall, you're getting the hospital bill. I can barely afford my own bills. Arpy says, I miss Heather and hope she comes back soon. I'm hoping we can get Heather back for a couple of more episodes here soon. I'll have to talk to her and figure it out. She's been busy like with her own job because she also works in a school setting, much like I do. So
maybe we can convince her to come to the 100th episode for like extravaganza, like party fun.
That would be fun. That's a great idea. Yeah. Yeah, we're already coming up with ideas for our 100th episode, everyone, which is going to be super exciting. Mm-hmm. So, okay. I've been blabbing. How have you been and what have you been up to?
Oh, school. Terrible school. I thought I was like sabotaging myself in school and I was not. I actually am smarter than I think I am. Maybe smart? What?
I don't think you announced this in the last episode that you're going to grad school. Did you want to talk about that for a second? And
yes, I'm going to grad school and I am studying. Well, my focus is going to be screenwriting, but right now I'm just studying creative writing. So like I'm not working on my focus. So right now, my class that I'm taking is studying the craft. So we're just like doing reading as a writer. So I'm reading Wuthering Heights and this book by Sarah Walters called The Little Stranger. So I'm reading those. And I'm working on like a toolbox to like write a story and, do like a whole kind of like paper series of papers based on that. So it's only it's a 10-week long class, but it's interesting. Also, what else am I doing? I ran a 5. I don't know if I talked about this, but I ran a 5K in August.
I don't think you mentioned it. I can't remember. I'd have to rewatch the last episode, but feel free to share.
Yeah, I ran a 5K in August in 46 minutes. So I did that. And then I'm training for another 5K. I'm going to do that in November. I think I'm going to do a turkey trot. I posted some videos on my channel and I've been kind of, did I tell you I have like 360 subscribers on my tarot channel now that
wow, yeah, that's grown.
Like, I know. I was like, dang, but I'm like hands off on my tarot channel now. I just like post videos and I don't even check it out anymore.
I feel like our channels have been kind of blowing up the last week or two, like
I had a video on my tarot channel that had over 1,000 views and I was just like, oh, that's nice. I was just like, didn't even check any of the comments or anything.
I'm at the point where I don't understand YouTube's algorithm anymore. Like I had a video last week that like spiked and got like 2,500 views in the span of like 2 days. And I'm just like, this hasn't happened to me in a coon's age, like in a very, very long time. So, oh my goodness. Oh, Taylor's here. Hi, Taylor. Taylor's family tradition. My family goes on a turkey trot while I make Thanksgiving at my mom's. Kick those asshats out of my kitchen.
Do they? So it's question, Taylor. Question about the turkey trot because I've never done the turkey trot. My family is they like to sit around and watch TV and stuff. So does your family, do they dress up and like dress up like turkeys and stuff like that, or do they just like dress up in warm clothing, or like do they do like the fun stuff, or just like how does a turkey trot work? Like I don't understand it. It's supposed to be like a fun thing, right?
Like I remember doing a turkey trot when I was in elementary school, but I feel like this might be something different. Oh, and Amy Lee Forever asks, "What did I hear about a tarot channel?" And Ari, I'm going to be your shameless PR person right now and share the link.
Sure.
To Tarot Time with Ari. Mine don't, but I hear plenty do. My family is full of buzzkills too.
Oh, this is like the first. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead.
Oh, this is like the first Thanksgiving that I'm going to have to make my own Thanksgiving dinner because I don't expect my family to make vegan food for me.
Oh yeah.
It's
Oh.
fine. I'm like expecting like and like I actually am like looking forward to making my own Thanksgiving dinner. I'm like really excited to like make my own gravy and stuff. And like I'm really, really excited for
And
it.
vegan Thanksgiving food is really, really good. Like I've had vegan Thanksgiving food before.
Have you really? Where did you
Hmm.
have it?
My aunt is vegan, and she has made us an array of different vegan dishes and tofu turkey for like I think tofu turkey is so delicious.
See, I would make stuff for my family, but I feel like my family would not be very open to it. And like that's the thing. Like I just want to make it for myself so I have stuff for me to eat and like maybe leftovers for myself for like the next day. But like my family is not very open to stuff. Like they
Yeah,
have their own tastes and that's fine. Like but I would make stuff for them, but I don't think that they would just be like into trying it. They're just not very open people. They like what they like and that's what they like.
right. Yeah, that's got to be exhausting sometimes. So, comments. Um Taylor says it's a whole new world when you're in control. I'm happy for you. And then
Mhm.
says that Trader Joe's vegan turkey en route with stuffing, or it just said en route, with stuffing is fantastic. Um, oh, you didn't like the tofurkey?
The tofurkey, the actual like the tofurkey with the stuffing is terrible
Oh
because
yeah,
it's the stuffing part is dry on the inside. So like the cooking of it is just I I I would not recommend the vegan tofurkey. Do not recommend that because it's there's a mushroom based one that I've had before where you like baste it with rosemary and thyme and you put some butter on it. That one's okay. But that one also can be pretty dry because they say to like cook it for a half an hour, but like you have to put it in like an oven bag. That one's still not very good. That Joe ones, I think I wanted to try that one because I've heard good things about it, but like, you know, why are we talking about Thanksgiving? It's not even Halloween yet.
I literally just realized that we're like almost 15 minutes in. Okay, show mission statement. We live in a dynamic society where social media shapes us by creating greater opportunities for connection. It has led to a developing understanding of the adversity many marginalized communities face, the powers causing the adversity, and those who act as bystanders as atrocities take place in real time. Our goal with the show is to make connections and have challenging conversations about social topics, current events, pop culture, and art. Together, let's weave the threads of understanding with what privilege we have in order to learn, educate, and create in a world that's growing. So uh, originally we were only going to be talking about one topic tonight, and it was how we define quality. But we really wanted to take a chunk of the episode and talk about the fact that Queen Elizabeth II has passed,
Mm-hmm.
which obviously is huge news today. A lot of people around the world are grieving, and we just wanted to uh, chat about that for a while. So
So, big
go ahead.
thing. Where were you when you found out about it? Because that's like a big thing. Like people are like, it's like the Kennedy assassination. It's like, where were you when you found out?
I was sitting right in front, right here. I was like working on some emailing and stuff, and I like suddenly my phone started blowing up, like notifications. My partner texted me about it. I like went on Twitter, and it was like all over Twitter, and that's how I found out, which is kind of mind-boggling because like about 10 minutes before I found out, like I had read that, oh, the queen is being monitored and that her family is, meeting at a specific location. And I kind of had like a little intuitive moment where I was just like, something's happening, something's going on. But I didn't think of the worst at that moment. How about you?
So weirdest thing. So this morning I got up and I kind of slept a little bit fitfully last night. I was up and down. I had had a pretty good night. It's not that I slept terribly. I slept the full night. I slept a full 8 hours. It's just that I got up and I was like kind of in a good mood. I was in actually a pretty good mood. I had a good dream. I was feeling pretty good. I did my morning meditation. I got up and I said, it all started. Actually, it all started last night. I was sitting on the toilet and I was like, I did Google reviews, and I had revised a Google review that I had done a while ago for a donut place in town, because I had left a very nasty, particularly nasty review for this donut place, because I had gotten sick after I had gotten donuts, and I thought they had been vegan donuts, but they weren't vegan donuts. So I had gotten particularly ill. And so I had gone back there after that, and I had gotten vegan donuts, and they were really good donuts, like really good donuts. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, why did I leave that nasty, horrible comment on? It was like this big, long review about how horrible they were, how disgusting their donuts were, how it made me physically ill, how if you were vegan, you should not go into this donut shop. Just like a mean, nasty comment. Just like, so I was like sitting on the toilet last night, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna revise my. So it started last night on that, right? So I revised. I know this is a TMI story, but I was like revising my comment, my review, and so I went to bed, and then I woke up and I did my meditation, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go get some vegan donuts this morning. So I went to go get vegan donuts, and I did my manifestation for the morning. And so then I went home and I was like, God, I feel like I'm in a good mood, but I'm also in like there was just like a weird energy in the air. You know what I mean? Did you feel that in the air too? There was a weird energy.
Something felt like disheveled to me. I don't know if that makes sense.
Just off.
Yeah.
So then I was like, I'm gonna go for a run. So then I like went for a run, but I walk before I start my run. Like I walk for like a couple blocks, and I had opened up my TikTok, and John Green was talking about the Queen, and like he didn't mention that she had died. He just was mentioning about how we see history through the lens of the Queen's life. And like people have talked about this before, like this is not a particularly new or interesting thing. Like this is just something that people talk about every so often. And I was just like, oh, whatever, they're just talking about the Queen. Like this is just something that people talk about. And like I didn't even watch the whole TikTok. I would just watch like a part of it. And I was just like, yeah, that's something that happens. Like I didn't think anything of it. So then I went for my run, and I ran for about an hour, and then I came back and I sat down on my couch after I had finished, and I pull out my phone, and my friend M had texted me and said the Queen died, and I was like, what? What?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it was intense because I started getting a lot of messages trickling in. Like I know, like Taylor, I think you texted me as well about it around that same time. Let's see. Lagiacris is here. Hello, it's good to see you, my friend. Amy Lee says that they were at work. Arpy was at work as well. Taylor says, people are so callous about it, but I'm bummed. She was a cool ass lady. Yeah, she made mistakes, but way less than I would make with that position. Yeah, yeah. And then Taylor says, I found out in the living room with my daughter scrolling my Twitter. Lagiacris was working on, you said I was working on my book when I first heard. Emily Forever says she was classy. I listened to that Oprah interview with Harry and Meghan. I realized that all the decisions I held the Queen responsible for actually came from the corporation running their business. Yes. And that the corporation made those decisions about Harry, not the Queen. Yeah, it is very interesting, like examining like the corporate background of the monarchy, because obviously since it's mostly just like a symbolic gesture at this point, it's like something, it's turned into like a business venture over the years, right? Arpy says she seemed cool, though I heard she didn't have a good relationship with Princess Diana. Taylor says, good point, Amy Lee forever. Taylor says, my sister blames her for Diana's death, so I had to safe word our group chat because I'm not having that shit. Yeah. Well, Valerie Gothic is here. Hello, Valerie. It's good to see you. Hope you're doing well. What were you about to say, Ari? Sorry.
I think the reason why she had a poor relationship with Princess Diana, and from what I gathered, because I did watch The Crown.
I have not watched that yet.
Oh my God. It was my sister and I, that was our show. And the only reason why my sister and I watched the show is because my other sister, Rachel, got us hooked on that show. And oh boy, howdy. But I feel like from my perspective watching The Crown, and this is a very limited, a very American view, I feel like the only reason why that they had such a poor relationship is because Diana seemed to be very flashy, that she was very public about stuff, and it seemed like that the queen was very private, and she liked things to be very private in a very certain way, and Diana kind of was not that type of person. She didn't do things in that certain way that she likes. She was a very particular person, and Diana was not that same type of particular person that she was. She didn't because the queen kind of towed the line, and Diana did not toe the line in the same way. So I feel like it kind of caused a clash of personalities.
I mean, it's suffice it to say, I think that there are a lot of people out there who do have mixed feelings about the queen and the monarchy in general. Because you'll see that there are people who are very, very passionate supporters, who are very much invested in the royal family. And then there are other people who think that the monarchy is just kind of this archaic tradition that really doesn't bear a lot of significance anymore.
I have seen a lot of people who have been celebrating her death today.
Yeah. Taylor says, I love The Crown. Valerie says, I'm good. When I found out, I did the crab rave dance. Amy Lee says, I don't think the queen is responsible for Princess Diana's death, but for making her miserable, definitely. Yeah. And I also do think the queen changed a lot. Amy Lee, how do you think the queen has changed a lot over the years? I'm curious to read your perspective on that. So I guess my next question, Amy Lee, if you choose to respond, my next question while we wait is, did we have signs of her decline? I think so.
Yeah.
I know I did a video earlier today, just initially reacting to the situation. But when we think about it, we've heard so many comments over the past few weeks that she was canceling events, social occasions.
She's gone downhill ever since her husband's passing. Ever since he died, it was just, the writing was on the wall. Was
it last year he passed away?
No, I think it was this year.
Was it this year? Oh my goodness.
We're going to Google this. When did...
For some reason, 2022 feels as long to me as 2020 did. I don't know why. Yeah, RP also says, I don't hold her responsible for Diana's death. Yeah. We have 8 people.
Oh, no, he did die last year, April 9th. April 9th of last year.
Oh, it was April 9th? Okay. I was just musing over the fact that we have 8 people watching us this evening. Welcome, everyone.
But that's what I'm saying. I think that I really think that when her husband died, it was just it was all of a sudden, it was just it was inevitable. Because when you've been married that long and you've been in a relationship for that long, it's just there's something about, I don't know what it is. It's that.
Well, and Taylor notes, isn't the average length of life after the death of a spouse 18 months? That statistic sounds kind of familiar to me. I feel like that's probably true. I'd have to do more research on it, but I've heard that before. Yeah. Which is, it's so sad, but like I know a lot of people have been speculating that her health was not the best over the past, especially in recent months, because of all like didn't they cancel, or didn't she like have a very limited appearance at the, what's it called, the Jubilee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was her was it her 75th or 70th, 75th?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Lagacker says, I knew nothing about the moniker, so I don't have anything to say as a result. That's fair. Honestly, like, other than my general interest in like, that political structure, because like we hear about the history our entire lives, right? Like that's my invested interest. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sad to see someone die, but I'm really feeling, I feel a lot of sympathy for people who love the royal family and the royal family themselves, because obviously this is a loss that they have to work through. Amy Lee Forever says, I think she became less rigid, more accepting of making the monarchy modern, and talking about the last 20 years. Yeah.
Can we tie this into can we do that quality question about number 8 in our notes? Can we just like drop that bomb question?
Sure, that's
just real quick.
So
can I ask that? Can I
yeah,
ask
go
that
for
question?
it.
So the topic for tonight is quality, but like I kind of wanted to tie it into the British monarchy because we were kind of like talking about this question. So, first of all, we define quality. If you want to define quality first.
Yeah, so like I decided that we should define the word, and quality is defined as the standard of something as measured against other things of a similar kind, the degree of excellence of something.
So basically, the question I had, as defined by how we define quality, was not trying to throw the future of the monarchy or his way of life, but how do we decide who is better over anyone else? As far as like deciding that a British monarch or a person is of higher quality than another person, and what does that do to a person's psyche and a society when we decide that a person is a monarch or a higher quality than, say, a commoner?
Ooh, that's a really deep question. So, but while I think on that answer, I do want to note that indignant writer bird is here. Hello.
Oh, is that M?
Hi, M. Ari mentioned you to me earlier. Told you I'd be here. Sad about the QE2. Sad about the QE2, as in like the boat. I meant sad about QE2, but happy about the Michigan Supreme Court ruling today. Yes, I did see that too. So I would say, first, I want to establish that I think that the way these systems are created and their quality, the way it's gauged, I think a lot of it now is just conditioning. Like when we think about like the symbolic nature of the British monarchy, right? Like it's a seat of power that doesn't have the power it used to have, right? It's a symbolic seat of power. And I think that go ahead.
It is symbolic. However, the British and maybe and this goes back to what I've learned from watching The Crown and what I know about the British monarchy. They still tax and receive money from the British citizens for maintaining their lifestyle. So they do, receive a status and wealth over British citizens for their quality of life. So it's like they are monarchs. They have power and wealth over the commoner to maintain their quality of life. Like they receive benefits, a standard, they have a certain expectation of standard of living. They receive benefits to being a monarch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, there's obviously something just inherently classist about that, right? And I know that's a very popular criticism of the monarchy, justifying the fact that it's kind of archaic and outdated. But like at the end of the day, I think that not only are these systems in place, like what legislatively and politically to continue to sustain that system, but I also think historically speaking, it's something that's it's a way of life that's conditioned, because a lot of citizens have seen this system maintain throughout their entire history, right? So it's kind of like this passing the torch kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like now the question of what does that do to the psyche
Of the commoner.
Of the commoner, like I think I would argue that it's the conditional, it conditions, right? It conditions the psyche. I again, I think it really depends on the perspective of who you're talking to as well. Like obviously from my perspective, as someone who isn't directly impacted by the monarchy, like I mean, I can look at like the class related ramifications, but I'm not directly impacted by them. What do you think?
I think that, and then like I said, this is for my very limited, very unknowledgeable. But if it were me, if I were a person who were a commoner, and like and as a person who is an American living in a society where we have a president who receives wealth and power and stuff in a system, where I did never have the ability to. I mean, I guess I do, but like the idea of being a president or like a Jeffrey Bezos, like the idea of being a Jeffrey Bezos, like the idea of like the wealth and power that the very idea of the lifestyle he lives, and like the idea of me, getting to that level of wealth, and like it just seems so foreign to me,
Mm-hmm.
that quality of life.
When I guess when we think about it, like obviously there's a certain degree, like regardless of like the conditioning argument that I made a little while ago, like I do think that there is a certain degree of trust and morale, like a sovereign morale, let's just say, that goes into maintaining the seats of power. Because when you think about it, like in our country, like we like democratically elect our officials that represent us, but like not only do we make that decision, but also like we are taxed, and a lot of our resources go towards sustaining those people and giving them the power that they need, right? So I guess like if I were to place myself in the perspective of a like middle class, like low to middle class person in the UK, like it might just seem so normal and so acceptable that it wouldn't really impact me emotionally, if that makes sense.
And I'm trying to think of like how the United States is different from the British Empire. And it's like, yes, we do have leadership, and we do have businessmen who are, and like I feel like the closest thing we have are businessmen, because businessmen do make quite a bit of money, and that most of our business people do start out, generally, like most of our extreme 1% wealthers do start off, that it's a generational wealth thing, that they do start off wealthy and then they get into more wealth, that there's this idea that like if you work hard you can get wealthy, that tends to be like a misconception in our society, that they actually do mostly start off wealthy and then they get wealthier. And that there's like this misconception that that they've started off poor or broke, and that like,
well, it's because we get so caught up in that notion of the American dream, right? Like we assume that every person who was wealthy, pulled themselves up by the bootstraps and, worked really, I mean, and I'm sure some of them do work hard to get where they are, but that's not always the case. Sometimes it is passed down, right? Amy Lee says, I don't think it's a matter of quality of a person, but more the status. There were kings and queens with less qualities as persons than their help, let's say. Yeah. So Amy Lee says, so Ari, if you were a president of the United States, do you think your personality would change?
I think it's undeniable that when you get into positions of power, that parts of your personality would probably change. I don't know if it would be for better or for worse, but definitely power does change your personality for, I would like to think that I would keep my head about me and that I would use it respectfully.
Right.
And that I have become a person who has thought about these things and thought about what I would do if I got into these things, and that I have spent time at the bottom long enough that I would know what to do. But that is in theory, and I've never thought about it in practice. So,
Yeah, that's
it's
a
nice
really
to
good
say,
question.
it's nice to say that I would be a good person, but you never know until you get into those things. So the answer is yes, but would it be for better or for worse? I couldn't answer that for sure.
I would say that would be my answer as well. And this is responding to my Democratic election part. Taylor says, "Do we though? We don't really elect our president." Yeah, there is
God,
like
that's the truth.
the whole
That's the real
electoral
truth.
college thing. Yeah. And then Amy Lee Forever says, I was about to ask Donnie, would you change if you were a queen? Then I got a facepalm moment. Sorry. No, I love. Who's to say this isn't already a queen sitting here?
Donnie, you are the best kind of queen.
Thanks. Stop. No, we had this thing in the back room where like we were complimenting each other, and then I always feel like this, stop. Like, please keep going, keep complimenting.
Stop and don't.
Stop it. RP says, I doubt you'd abuse it. I think you meant a position of power if you were in one. Yeah. Yeah, like, and it's interesting, like, it's a difficult question to answer because there are, like, obviously so many variables that we just couldn't anticipate, right? Because we've never experienced that before. So yeah. Is there any other queen stuff we wanted to talk about? Thanks, Loggy.
I just saw the best TikTok today. Can I just do an aside about
Yes,
the
please
queen?
do.
So there was a Gen Zer who blamed themselves for the queen's death, and here's why. So they used to buy this sticker from Walmart that you would put on your car that showed the queen waving like this, and they would have it in their back window of their car. And every so often the sticker would fade, and they would get new cars, and like it would just, and so they had this new car, and it was a lime green car, and the queen had a lime green suit, so it matched the car. And so it was starting to sun fade again, and they were like, oh, I gotta get a new one. And their friend was like, or it was their friend or their coworker was like, they're like, oh, it's starting to sun fade again. And their coworker was like, when that completely fades, the queen is gonna die. And she's like, whoa,
Oh,
like,
that's terrible timing.
and she's like, no, I'm gonna buy a new one. She kept putting it off. She kept putting it off. She's like, they're like, when that completely fades, the queen is gonna die. And she's like, no, I'm gonna buy a new one. So then on Tuesday, she put her order in. She's like, see, I put a new one in. She's like, by the time you get that, the queen is gonna be dead. And so,
Oh.
and so she got it. She got it today. She got the sticker today.
Oh my, that is so weird. That kind of gave me goosebumps. Like, that's so, ooh.
If I see the TikTok again, I'll share it.
Yeah, please send it to me.
I was just like, oh my God, like what? it was like,
I'm sure the person saying that probably feels absolutely
I
horrible
was
now.
like, sometimes reality feels like a TV show, doesn't it? Because
And
that
we're
felt
on
like that feels
we're
like
in
a
the 7th
sitcom,
season finale.
doesn't it? Do you ever see like
Oh
TikToks
yeah.
and stuff, and you're like, doesn't it feel like the reality is like a TV show sometimes?
I
You're
kind
just
of
like,
feel that way. Yeah, I feel that way a lot about many different aspects of my life, honestly. Let's see. Amy Lee Forever says, I think, well, I know I would abuse a position of power to change all red states' ridiculousness. Yes. Oh, thank you, RB. Lagiakar says, I don't consider myself a leader, to be honest. I think of myself as a rallier instead. I learned this in high school with friends of mine back during sports events. That's understandable. So, but yeah, like, I don't know. I feel like we needed to acknowledge today a little bit and reflect on what's been happening. Oh, confirmation. Indignant Writer Bird is I have to say, your username is perfect. I love it. Emily Forever asks if we've watched that movie about Monica Monarchy with Grace Kelly. Made me actually more sad. I have not, no. But I probably should check that out. Yeah. So, do we want to shift gears and talk a little bit more about how we define quality?
yes.
Okay. So, I think okay.
So you go first.
No, you go first. What were you about to say?
So I wanted to talk about the pros of like, because can we talk about like slow living and like quality of life of like slow living? Because this is something that's like I've been here like kind of hearing grumbles about like online, like minimalism and like slow living. Like
Okay,
that's the
so
thing that.
my first question would be, what is the difference between being a minimalist and slow living?
So like slow living is just like living a very like meaningful life. It doesn't necessarily mean like having less stuff or like having like the least stuff possible or like doing the KonMari method or like doing anything like that. It's just like being meaningful in your actions and like being mindful in your actions. It's very like a Buddhist way of living. There is like a little bit of overlap in it. It's just like, and I guess there is a little bit of like minimalist and that you cut out like some extraneous things.
Hmm.
But it's just like taking as much time as you need on each task and like savoring each task, like not reading like 125 books in a year. It's like taking as much time as you need to on a book, because like that's the thing that for me it's like I've become a slow reader. Like I used to read like I just used to speed through books, and now I have become like a very slow reader, because I like to savor books now. Like that's my big thing, is like I like to sit and I like to read books, and sometimes like I'll like read a passage or a line, and sometimes like I'll just sit there and I'll like reread it, or like I'll consider the passage, because I'm like savoring each line or like thing, because I've become such a slow reader. Like I'm considering each part of the book now. So like sometimes it takes me like over a month to finish one book. And so like I like this year I've only read like for fun one book. And like that it's like, and I was so devastated because I wasn't reading at all. And so like I felt like I've been so stupid. Like I just wasn't, that I was just like that I needed that break from reading. And so I just I felt like I was that I've just become that I've become old and slow, and that I've just that I haven't like sorry, my phone.
Oh no, you're good.
That I haven't lived this like, that and I do certain things that are purposeful, like I do running and I do manifestation and I do journaling, and that to me is like an extent of like the quickness of my day. That's like the most fast paced my day gets. But like I cook meals. Like
This is really interesting. I'm glad that you posed this question. I personally feel that the pandemic has been terrible, but it has drastically shifted, I think, how many of us define quality of life, right? Because prior to the pandemic, quality of life was largely dictated by this very capitalistic 9 to 5 like type of productivity, right? Like get as much as you can done in the smallest time possible to maximize your productivity as much as you can, right?
To be the
And
like quick little worker bee, to like
yeah,
constantly perform and produce, and it's that capitalistic little like ultra performer, little Johnny employee of the month.
and that your worth is dependent on the amount of output produced, right? And like I have felt that a lot over the years, like where like I have just been made to feel so minimal because of the like decreased output in some way, right? So like I really think that the pandemic has shown many of us, especially like Gen Xers, millennials, and Gen Zers, like just this completely different way of living that like where we could literally slow down and take life in more and savor moments, right? um Emily Forever says, you mean the opposite of seize the day? Yeah, like because seize the day, I mean,
It's more like seize the moment rather than seize the day.
right. I like, yeah, I would agree with that. I was trying to find another, analogy, but I think that's perfect. Taylor says we live a very low income life because we choose quality of our minutes day to day over accruing wealth. Like I could spend my time being miserable and make money or not. That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. And I remember, and mind you, like I'm speaking from a place of privilege here in the sense that I've reached a point in my life where I am pretty financially stable. However, like prior to getting to this point, I remember just like this, I felt like a bee. Like I felt like I was scurrying to rub two pennies together, like change jars, and I just felt like it was never enough. Now I kind of feel that way sometimes with regard to the amount of work produced, if that makes sense. But for me, it's less about money now and it's more about like output, right? I don't know if that makes sense or not.
I feel like that creatively sometimes, that I feel like I have to make, like, especially with like the tarot stuff and like with the, that I feel like it's like a never ending race to like create vlogs and stuff. Like sometimes I
Yeah.
feel like I have to maintain a certain schedule with those. Sometimes I feel that way, that like I have to maintain a certain filming or schedule to like maintain the algorithm sometimes. Like, do you feel that way too
I
sometimes? So like,
do. I do feel that way. I also feel that way about my writing career now, and you may feel the same way too, but like obviously both of us, we have put out 2 to 3 books at this point, right? And I think there's always like this pressure of like, well, what's next? What's the next thing? What's the, like, I know, like I every once in a while will have people be like, when's your next book coming out? Like when are you gonna put out something new? And I'm just like, I feel like I just got done promoting the book that I put out last year.
no, I actually have taken like a hiatus on it and nobody's given me drama about it. I'm actually like producing less poetry than I was. Like I'm not doing the 6 poems a day anymore.
Mm.
I'm trying to work on producing quality work. And you've seen the type of poetry I'm putting out lately. I'm putting out like
Oh yeah,
nice.
your poems have been stunning lately. P.S. Shameless plug for our poetry reading episode that we did a couple of weeks ago. Go check that out. But really though, like I feel like your work is continuing to grow. I feel that way about my own as well. Like, because I have slowed down. Now, like when October comes around, I'm probably gonna do like my little October challenge. Mostly
Ooh, I can do
because
that with you. That'd be fun.
that would be fun. I didn't do it last year because I was putting out Feats of Alchemy throughout October, and that just consumed all of my time. So, but yeah, that would be fun. Oh, RP says, take your time with everything, guys. Thank you for that. Amy Lee Forever says, I think the money should just facilitate one's purpose of life. There's a quote I live by. Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning and purpose. Victor Frank, is it Franklin?
Victor Frank, I think.
Victor Frank. Yeah, that's an excellent quote. But yeah, like I really do think that if we were to examine any good thing that's come out of the pandemic, it is the reality that it showed us a different pace that we could live our lives by. Like I know one of my big struggles right now is like I love teaching virtually. Like it's like I absolutely love it. Everybody around me though is like, oh, I want all of my classes face to face again. I want to be, and I'm like, I don't mind teaching face to face, but as somebody who does struggle with a lot of social anxiety and a lot of like introverted performative pressure, like teaching virtually has been such a pivotal thing for me over the past couple of years. And I feel like it's helped me develop as an educator as well. I don't know if that makes sense, but Frankel. Okay.
Oh, it is Frankel. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and I agree. Ari has always been super
Oh,
talented.
you guys are spoiling me with compliments.
Stop it.
Stop it.
Oh, it's too funny. But yeah, like I guess there's just been like this looming loathing, like this looming kind of specter of things being the way they used to be pre-pandemic, like this 9 to 5 rigorous thing. And it honestly, I'm not gonna lie, like it scares me. Like it really scares me sometimes.
Like the machine starting back up again.
Like the machine starting back up, and I'm just going to become like this cog again that's just constantly turning and turning and turning, Let's see. Oh, I hope so too, RP. I mean, regardless, at the end of the day, I'm going to do whatever I'm told to do, but I would hope that I would keep teaching virtually too. Lagiacris asks, where can I check out your guys' stuff again? Perfect opportunity to do a few like itty bitty plugs here, right? Ari, you go first.
If you're just looking to see my poetry, I think I should probably collect a playlist of all of my poetry that I've done on YouTube, because I have so much of it on YouTube. It's ridiculous. But if you're looking to buy my poetry, it's all over. You can just search Ari Whipple on Amazon and it'll just pop up.
Right. Same here with mine. Like if you just search Donny Winter on Amazon, you'll be able to find my stuff. I also have a poetry channel called Donny Speaks. I just put the link in the chat if you want to check that out. I'm about to hit 150 subscribers on there. Woo! So if anybody wants to be my 150th subscriber, or like, I think I'm almost at that point. If somebody wants to get me to that point, please do.
I actually do remember driving through Arcadia. That was a very magical moment, and it was not surprising. It was very interesting. I do remember that. That was a very fun time. That was because I know if you know Em at all, she is a LARPer. She's a very fun LARPer, very stylish LARPer, if I might add. The thing that I remember most about Em is that she has the most fantastic collection of shoes. Very fantastic. She had these wine like ballerina lace-up boots. Oh my god. And she had these like high heel black boots. Oh my god. I remember those like beautiful, beautiful shoes.
I'm obsessed. That sounds amazing.
Taylor, did you read that the phone call? Was it good? What did you think of that? I was curious.
Taylor, you should talk about the writing that you've been doing lately.
I wanted to keep writing smut, but I was like, would anybody read that? I would make it free because I feel like I can't charge for that kind of smut. I feel like that's Wattpad stuff.
Let's see. Amy Lee Forever says this actually has a lot to do with millennials retiring really young and just using time to enjoy life, travel, and explore new cultures, etc. Are millennials retiring already?
Mm-hmm.
Is it part of that quiet quitting conversation that's been happening, or is that something different?
Quiet quitting is a Gen Z thing, not a millennial thing.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
That has to do more with the tech sector than.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, thank you, Amy Lee Forever. And Em just ordered new boots. And Taylor says that reading your smut was true joy. Taylor says audio erotica scripts are me these days.
Oh my God, I love those too, where it's like, sit on daddy's lap, daddy has something to say to you. It's like, what? What?
And then Amy says, yeah, it's been the thing for the last 5 years. I feel like I've heard about it, but I don't maybe I've just not been in the right spaces. Maybe it's my career area, I'm limited
or mommy's lap. I'm
I'm talking about like career stuff in here. You're like on mommy's lap. I love where our brains are right now. It's amazing. Lagiakra says, I'm still writing my first book in my series. Meanwhile, I've been working on it since I was 15 or so. I made a new channel for it if you guys want to see. Yeah, if you can drop the link in the chat, I'll go check it out for sure.
You know what it is? Donny and I, both of us at this moment, are your last two brain cells.
It's so true. That's a compliment. Stop.
This is the weirdest episode. How did we even talk about anything this episode?
No, I do think that we talked extensively about the Queen. I think we had a pretty good conversation about quality and how we define quality. But the thing is, we had so many discussion questions that there's going to definitely be a part 2 to this episode, because there's so much to talk about with regard to.
We didn't even get to food deserts or balance of life or aging in our society. We didn't get to any of those questions.
Yeah, so I think there's next season, because we already have all the episodes plotted out for the rest of the season until December. We will definitely pick up on this conversation next season for sure. I've super enjoyed this episode. I feel like we've paid our respects, but I also feel like we've been able to connect that early conversation to our conversation about quality of life. Amy Lee.
No comments.
What is that?
Live your best life. Should we get a sponsorship to Adam and Eve?
Or as my parents used to say, Adam and Steve when I was a kid.
Huh?
I said, or as my parents used to say, Adam and Steve.
It's not Adam and Eve. It's Adam and Steve.
God. People still do that, and I'm just like, can we retire that? Speaking of retiring, can we retire that phrase?
Right.
Oh my goodness. And Arby, I have not seen that. No. I feel like the end of our episode this week is just random conversation, and I love it. Lilith and Eve. Yes. Oh my goodness. This, I don't know. I always feel so wholesome having these conversations with all of you and with you, Ari. This, like, we can talk about like difficult things, but we can also have our fun, which is really real, just freeing to me.
The only thing I've learned from this episode is that Amy Lee Forever is a dirty, dirty girl.
Yes. You can take that.
And Taylor is my #1 erotica fan, and I may end up just start writing erotica just for Taylor.
I will drink to that. Drink my glass of water to that. Well, my friends, I think we've essentially come to the end. I think I saw the link, but you can always message it to me on Instagram, Lagiacris.
Oh, and another thing, we have quality listeners. Our listeners are quality people.
Do. We do. And this, like, I'm just really impressed that we've had like 8 or 9 people the entire episode, so we must be doing something right.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Well, everyone, thank you for taking time out of your schedules today to listen as usual. Go check out Ari's YouTube channel, Strange Nothings, and also Tarot Time with Ari, and go subscribe to them if you can. If you've not subscribed, I don't know if you're here, if you've not subscribed to my channel yet, well, what are you doing? Please subscribe to my channel. Check out my Donny Speaks Poetry channel. Feel free to check out, I do have like an archive channel where I upload like small things, like old videos and stuff, some very old cringy videos if you were excited about those. So yeah, back during the emo days, you know. All right,
oh boy.
Oh boy. All right, my friends, you all have a good night, and thank you for tuning in. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.